but blood versus family ties. Has anyone else experienced this? Have you had to walk away from family members just to keep the peace? Well, I have. And I continue to pray and ask God to reveal and remove people out of my life that doesn't mean me well. And unfortunately, that includes family. I'm going to share a little personal story with you guys. And I hope that someone out here can relate to my story and be free, feel free to drop some, your thoughts in the comments. But 10 months ago, guys, I lost my mom to dementia. And unfortunately, although I had worked in that field and I was knowledgeable, I knew what to expect, it was a hard pill to swallow because it was my mom. And believe it or not, my brother called me one day to say that I needed to listen to the conversation between him and the doctor, and at which time the doctor decided to put my mom under hospice care. And a lot of us know that when hospice comes in, it's pretty much just to make that person comfortable until they actually transition. So, with that being said, my mom went on hospice care. I live in the state of Virginia. My brother lives in the state of Maryland. You would have thought that once he got that information firsthand, he would have come to Virginia and spent every last moment with his mom. But unfortunately, he didn't do that. I guess he figured because I'm here in Virginia, it was my job, which I didn't have a problem going to be by my mom's side. Me and my mom never had the most closest relationship, but there was no way I could allow this woman to pass away by herself. So for the last 60 plus days of her life, I was there every waking moment. I was actually there with her October 29th, 2024, holding her hand when she took her last breath. Oh, Jesus, give me strength. That was something that I would never, ever, ever be able to get over or unsee. However, I thank God that I was strong enough for that task, for that job, if you will. I've always been a strong person, even before having multiple strokes back in 2018. That's a whole different story. I will sit down one day and talk to you guys about that too. But even before having those strokes, I was always a strong willed, outgoing, outspoken individual. So I knew that I could handle being by my mom's side, you know, during her last days. And I thank God that I was able to do that because it gave me a chance to make peace with my mom. It gave me a chance to make peace with the Lord. I actually audio recorded me making peace with my mom. And I just thank God so much for that strength to have been able to do that. So at her funeral, you know, I believe my family was expecting me to be the one hooping and hollering, but little did they know I was at peace. But let's go backwards for a second. When I found out that we was putting my mom on hospice, a cousin, me and this particular cousin has been close all of our lives. I was the sister she never had, and she was the sister that I never really had. And we both worked in the same field before. She, to this day, still works in that field, dealing with, you know, Alzheimer's, dementia, elderly patients. So when I called her that day upset, crying still, letting her know that they was putting my mom on hospice, oh my God. My cousin gave me the most coldest response she could have ever given me. And that hurt me to the core of my soul. I called her upset, crying, letting her know, you know, we was having to put my mom on hospice. And she said to me, and I quote and I unquote, well, well, you already know what to expect. You done been in the field. Ooh, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. The moral to that story is when people show you who they are, believe them. It took me to have to go through losing my mama for me to really see my cousin for who she really is. Her focus is on being, and I don't care if she heard this video one day, I'm not holding back no more. Her focus was on, and still to this day is on being a hospice wife. meaning taking care of someone that won't even marry you. But you gonna tell me, someone who had been there for you through the deaths of all three of your parents, both your biological parents and your stepfather, that I already know what to expect? I done been in the field. Let me know in the comments if anybody else ever experienced such cold heartedness from a family member during such a trying time. Let me know. So, with that being said, I had to cut my cousin off. My mom died October 29, 2024. We buried her November 15, 2024. November 19, 2024. I sent my cousin a long, heartfelt text letting her know how I feel, and I haven't spoken to her since. I have seen her at different family occasions since then, but I feel like she owes me an apology. Let me know in the comments, guys, if I'm wrong for expecting an apology, because again, when people show you who they are, you just have to believe them. So we're going to fast forward. I recently moved from one apartment complex to another complex. And before I moved, I got rid of my living room furniture because it was old and I had had it for about 17 years. So I reached out to my brother and asked if they had an extra living room set or something that they didn't want. He was like, no, but you can ask my wife. I don't know what she got, but no. So, needless to say, they didn't have a living room set, but he offered me a bed. Do you need a bed? I'm like, well, I have a bed, but yeah, if you want to bring it, you can bring it. So he tells me he's going to be here such date, such time, which he came August 4th. I don't mean no harm, guys. I know my brother has unresolved issues because we both came from the same dysfunctional background, the same dysfunctional family, the same single parent household. But he brought this stuff to me on August the 4th, and I hadn't heard nothing else from him until yesterday when I reached out to him the last couple of days to let him know that I had gotten the dog back from my daughter that he had bought to me from someone else that he knew. Well, the dog is kind of too much for me to handle because I am a multiple stroke survivor and I do have very bad knees and I still have deficits from my stroke. So, truth be told, the dog is a little bit too much for me to handle. So, needless to say, he didn't respond back, but I saw where he read the text. So, I sent him another text letting him know I saw where you read the text and you didn't respond back. But never mind, I'll do what I have to do concerning the dog. Again, he read that text message too, and still no response back. So at this time, a couple of weeks ago, I had already wrote a letter on how I felt, but I didn't send it to him. So at this time, I picked up the phone and I called him, and I asked him, "What is your problem?" And I quote, "I don't have a problem. Well, yes, I do. Yes, I do. The next time I do something for you and you rushing me, first of all, how was I rushing you when you already had told me what date and what time that you were coming? When you got here, I wasn't at home. I was at a department store called Rose's. And so I came home and they showed up. And when I say they, him and his wife, so they proceed to take the stuff out of the truck. Mind you, I never asked for any of the stuff that they bought me, but I accepted it. So she gonna ask me, "Oh, you not gonna help?" I'm like, "No, I can't do no lifting. My knees are hurting. It's only some pictures." Well, again, my knees were killing me that day from moving in, and my son had been here helping me unpack stuff. So I came in and I sat down. So he comes in, proceeds to bring the stuff with this little attitude, and never did say that he was mad or whatever the case may be, but I realized he dropped his stuff off August 4th, and I hadn't heard anything from him until yesterday. So I ended up sending him that letter that I wrote 2 weeks ago, in addition to another letter, and I'm done. I am not going to keep allowing family and anyone else for that matter to make me feel any type of way when I know that I didn't do anything to this man. Because his wife got mad because I wouldn't help her, he took that and ran with it. He's so henpecked that whatever this woman says, he goes for it. He co-signs on it. But to turn your back on your sister like this when you had this letter read at our mama's funeral stating that you would look out for your family, what was all of that for? Oh, I know what it was for. My brother is the type of person that worries about what people think, what people may say. So he only did what he did for show. Because if you truly care for your mom, when you got word that they were putting her on hospice, why didn't you come and spend her last days with her? Hmm. But anywho, I'm just gonna go on with life as I've always have, as I continue to do. I'm gonna let God do the rest because I'm doing the best that I can. And it is what it is. I love my family, I love my brother, I love my cousin, but I refuse to keep allowing people to make me feel some type of way. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments if you guys ever experienced anything similar to this. If so, how did you handle it? What did you do? And let's talk about it because I'm really bothered by all of this stuff, especially losing my mom. Although we wasn't the closest, she was still my mother. Had it not been for her and the good Lord, it wouldn't be no me. So if you guys have family members out there that treat you a certain type of way, don't be afraid to walk away. Protect your peace at all costs. On this note, I'm actually here frying me some potatoes and I'm getting ready to fix my T-bone steak for my Sunday dinner. I'm going to enjoy my Sunday dinner and then I may ride out and get some air. It's kind of cool here today. It's like in the 60s here in Virginia. So I'm going to enjoy this nice day and I pray that you all do the same. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments if anybody ever experienced a situation like this and how did you go about handling it. And no matter what you do, always remember to be simply you. See you guys in the next one.